Good evening. I think we're live. Sorry, I'm a little bit late, a few minutes. So didn't get to do a countdown. Normally I'm setting myself up while waiting. But here we are, boys. Probably one of the most pivotal game weeks for me now. And you're seeing that right. I have triple captained Rashford. Well, I think I'm going to do it. It's a really close one between him and Haaland, but I think I'm going to do it. I'm even eyeing up a -4 now from Mount to Eriksen. I'm really thinking about it, but I don't know. It's not the most ideal double for United, but here we are. How are we doing, SJ? You all right, mate? Abdullah, welcome. Welcome to the stream, sir. Sorry, just sorting out the pin message to go to the top. Job done. Cool. Feel a little bit disorganised, sorry. Like when I don't do a countdown, it's kind of like, oh, where is everything? But I think we're all right. We're all good. Let me know if audio, any issues, any problems, let me know. But yeah. Eagerly awaiting on news about Stones and Darwin. Well, sir. Stones and Darwin. Well, as far as the press conferences go, I'm pretty certain that Jurgen Klopp hasn't said it's 100% with Darwin. I think if he trained today, then there's a possibility that he plays. But I think Stones is a no-go for the derby. I think Pep came out in his press conference and said no, he's not going to be playing in the Manchester United fixture. But I think he could feature against Tottenham. Yeah, Stones definitely out. Stones is definitely out. I think Pep confirmed that in his presser. Did you make the move for Stones then, Abdullah? Let's take the cap off. It's too hot. Too hot for this shit. Excuse my French. Sorry, Mum. Give me a second. You're on wildcard. Kepa and Mahrez or Edison and Martinelli? Kepa and Mahrez or Edison and Martinelli? I think Mahrez will get good minutes in game week 20. I'm not sure about game week 23 though. So I kind of like the Edison and Martinelli for safety. Edison and Martinelli is probably guaranteed for 23 in terms of minutes. Sorry, 1 second. I just need to send a message. Pep always does the opposite of what he said. He did Cancelo to Stones. Oh man, what a killer! I mean, I did understand the move though. I felt like it was reasonable, right? Harry did the same, didn't he? It is what it is sometimes. You know, if you make an early move, sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. It just didn't on this occasion, right? I think Martial to Kane's okay. Martial's obviously a doubt as well. I don't think he's going to necessarily start against City. If he does, he will get limited minutes, in my opinion. So I feel like one doubler for another doubler is not too bad. How you doing, Seb? You all right, mate? Both moves have haunted you. Well, Kane should be okay. I think Kane's going to do all right in this double, to be honest. Transfer plans, Odegaard in for Andreas, and then next week sell Cancelo for a Newcastle defender. I like that. That's fine. I think Odegaard is just, you know, he's definitely one that's got to be on so many people's radars now. And I like the Mount for a cheaper midfield as well and bring Kane in. I'm personally looking at Mount down to an Eriksen. And basically Eriksen would be probably some kind of placeholder for either like an Almiron, potentially a McAllister, someone of that ilk, that price point, right? I know they're about $1 million cheaper, but I'm just kind of, throwing out the ideas. Equally, he could become a Saka. Obviously, Saka's been flagged, so I won't go for him this week now, I don't think. I think he should be fine. I think Arteta said he should be okay. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, what I'll say about Mason Mount, though, is that if you think about it, if you brought him in like I did, obviously, on the World Cup wildcard, he scored 10 points, 2 points, 4 points. 16 points in 3 weeks is not that bad. Like, considering that, if you look at his previous history in terms of what he was scoring, right? Like, so he's gained 16 points in these 3 weeks because he didn't play against City. So it would have even been more if he played in the City fixture. If you have a look at the accumulation of the past, like, 4 or 5 weeks before the break, 2, 4, 6, 8, 11 points. Obviously, you got the 15 and the 12, which, yes, fine, back-to-back returns there. But, in those 4 weeks leading up to the World Cup, he basically did nothing. So I can understand why people didn't bring him in, to be honest. But I think he's already done us justice. I genuinely believe it's okay to sell him, to be honest. Abdullah, what are your thoughts on João Felix in the future? He looked really good last night. I agree, mate. I tweeted out after the first 15 minutes of watching the game, bud, I really felt like he had, some great opportunities. I don't feel like he was clinical enough, of course, using those opportunities. But absolutely, after he comes back from suspension, it could be a decent shout. Definitely. He's only 7.5 million, right? Seb, so Mount out and Rodrigo in, or Mahrez in, or Martinelli or Odegaard in. That's a tricky one, mate. I think, to be honest, I personally do like Odegaard. I think it depends on where you want to go in the future, right? You've got 4 different options there. I think Martinelli's probably the lowest on that list for me now. I think Rodrigo's a good option. I think there is a possibility, though, with Leeds that they make moves in the transfer market and Rodrigo becomes... his role possibly might change. I don't see that happening immediately, but that's something to consider. Mahrez, I think, is just, mate, you get into this territory with Mahrez where it's the same difference as Foden, right? These midfielders in City's, in Pep roulette mini-game, it's just a horrendous thing to get out of. So I can see the appeal because there is an upside there, but you just have to be prepared to sell him in a couple of weeks' time when he stops getting minutes. And then Odegaard, I think, is just a season banker, mate. I just think Odegaard's going to be long-term. You've got 23 as a double for him. They're also playing in 25, right? Or are we not sure yet? I can't remember. I need to check that. But still, I prefer Odegaard out of those options, Seb. Hi, Syed. How you doing, bud? Welcome to the stream, mate. Sportcat, do you think there would be a better time to play triple captain other than now? So it's an interesting debate, I suppose, right? Like, my personal preference is that I'm going to use it this week because I can't see any other double where I won't be using alternate chips, right? I'll probably be using free hits, or my free hit, sorry, on a double game week. Because I actually got through, I think it was blank game week, 6, 8, something like that, where we had a bit of a strange game week. Let me have a look. I can't remember now. It was all the way at the beginning of the season where people had to use free hits. Was it here, potentially? Game week 6? No. There was definitely a game week anyway that was obviously a few blanks, and I didn't use it. So I'm happy to use a free hit on a double game week. I'm going to use my bench boost probably on a double game week, and I may even use a wild card on another one. So I've got no other ways to play the triple captain, right? Like, there's going to be kind of smaller double game weeks and only maybe 3 big double game weeks. So I just think I'm just going to press the button now. And I really like Rashford's form, and it's just I've never triple captained a United player. And I will caveat it with the fact that it's never gone well for me, so don't trust my judgment. I've only ever scored like maximum 10 points extra from a triple captain. So, I'm looking forward to it. I just think it's worth the risk. So I had Salah to KDB for a -4. I'm not sure about a -4, but I do like Salah to KDB because I think, he doubles in both now and 23. So I think it's pretty good. And the situation with Salah is that does he go central now with, they're riddled with injury, Liverpool. So Salah's got to do absolutely everything, nearly, right? Abdullah, thank you for the congratulations, bud. Thoughts for minutes on Foden. I think he gets some minutes, but again, it's going to be limited. I think it's shared with Grealish, right? That's the thing. Mahrez Mahrez, Grealish, Foden and Bernardo Silva will all share minutes across these 2 game weeks, in my opinion. Game week 8, yes, that's when it was. So I didn't have to play the free hit in game week 8. So, yeah, because didn't Brighton and Palace, wasn't that one of the fixtures that got postponed to do with like rail strikes and other bits and pieces? So there's, yeah, and the Queen's View. There was loads of different things, but there's definitely been postponements and obviously blanks earlier in the season that meant some people had to use or felt like they wanted to use their free hit. So I've got that to use on a different double. So I can only realistically see the triple captain working for me on this week. Football 2000 have already taken -4 to bring in Mahrez instead of Mount, and I have Darwin, Martial, Cucurella and Cancelo. Who would you start? And should I trade Darwin for Tony for another -4? I do like Darwin to Tony. We've had confirmation now that obviously Tony is fit and ready, and the fixtures for him look good. I think in terms of who you start here, I think you do start Cancelo and Martial. And you do the -4, I think, for Darwin to Tony if you can't reach to Kane. And then Haaland triple captain, look, I get it. I'm on the fence with it. I'm obviously triple captain in Rashford. He was going to be my captain choice, so I've just decided to activate it and be a little bit differential. It could sting me, but I do like the triple captain this week. Said, but Leeds just have such good fixtures, and I'm thinking Rodrigo now in and Odegaard in double game week 23. So would you sell Rodrigo for Odegaard in 23? Is that what you mean? I mean, I like the idea is there. They just maybe look at alternative routes as well, just in case that plan doesn't work out. Hi Keith, welcome to the stream, mate. Doctor, you are also triple captain in Rashford. Get in, son. Well done. You've done well with your captaincy choices as well, Doctor, with Trippier. So I believe in the differential pick. I believe this is the week. This is it. This is happening. I'm going to catapult from 758k to 300k. I can feel it in my bones. Aston Villa, Brentford and Nottingham, that doesn't get better. Yeah, true. I think Aston Villa might be a little bit tricky for them because they have definitely got better since Emery's joined. But I do agree that Rodrigo is a good pick, right? I like Leeds' fixtures. You used your wild card in game week 8, so you still have the free hit. Fantastic. Absolutely perfect. So this is where I feel like, I think on Fantasy Football Scout, there's a thing that FPL Focal shared on his afternoon stream, if anyone joined that. And it basically just showcases like where you would possibly triple captain. Of course, they restricted it to where you would only use it on Haaland. I've gone a little bit different and said, nah, I'm going to do it on Rashford, right? But there didn't seem a good opportunity other than this week to use it, regardless of who it's on. So I just feel like this is the week. No worries, Football 2000, mate. Hopefully that helped you. Sportcat, looks like if you go for the transfers you said earlier in the next few weeks, perhaps in game week 22 and 23, Mitrovic to Kane. I like that move. I mean, Spurs, in terms of the Kane move, I've just gone earlier than I first anticipated. I was really on the fence with holding Darwin for a while, and then I maybe knee-jerked a little bit into that 16-pointer from Kane and decided, you know what, enough's enough. I can't go without him anymore. But my original plan was to bring Kane in game week 23, so I do like that option. Abdullah, so Danny, you're using triple captain this game week? Yes, mate. It is activated, as we can see here. Triple captain. Cancel. It's there, mate. I've got white surrounding my captain pick. It is active. Syed, that's mad. Why are you triple captaining Rashford? I like the idea, but need convincing. So look, I'm not too sure I can break it down on a live stream because it's a lot of information that I've kind of looked at. The only thing I can do, just go and have a look at my final thoughts video, right, for game week 20. I promise you, like, I've broken down the statistics of Haaland and Rashford. I'm definitely going with my heart over my head, 100%. Like, I will accept defeat that I've maybe made a bit of a rookie move here. But I genuinely believe that momentum is everything in football, and City have just been off the pace for the past few weeks. I know that Haaland statistically is definitely much of the better or more consistent shout, but I'm just going to take the gamble. You know, like, at the end of the day, like I've said, I'm pushing for 100k for the end of the season. Maybe it's a bad idea for some of you in your opinion, but I don't know. I'm going to really enjoy this game week now I've decided to activate it. Sportcat, game week 23 to 31, Spurs play Leicester, West Ham. Mate, their fixture run is amazing. And it's all the way to the end of the season, bud. It's even beyond 31. So I honestly feel like Kane is a season-long pick, which is why I decided to do it this week. It was just an easy excuse selling Darwin, to be honest, especially after he got flagged. Chris Nagy, hey, can I please share my team with you? Can you share your valuable feedback? I will do my very best, sir. Please feel free to put the team in the chat, my friend. Is Mitrovic to Tony a good move? I mean, I'd probably be a bit more... I'd be tempted to do it if I was playing Newcastle defenders, which I assume that you are. You probably got Trippier, right? If you're playing Trippier, you're kind of banking then that you want Mitrovic to return, but you also want Trippier to get an attack in return, which could happen. But I'm just not sure. I mean, Mitrovic is well rested. He could have easily hauled against Chelsea, by the way, because they were woeful defensively. So I don't know, mate. I think he's the talisman. It's not necessarily a burning move for you. I think you could hold on to Mitro. How you doing, FPL Boo Boo? Welcome to the stream, mate. Already commented earlier, very likely double for United. Leeds announcement coming. Going for Eriksen now. Might get Rodrigo later. Yeah, I'm with you, mate. I genuinely think I might take a -4 from Mount to Eriksen. Like, I'm genuinely considering it. It might be crazy because I'm not too sure that I get all those points back, but the double does give me a big opportunity here. And I really do like Eriksen above Fernandes. They're very similar statistically, and obviously it's 3 million cheaper. Mitro to Martial worth. I mean, again, I would probably say yes if we got more concrete news that he was okay. Eric Ten Hag in his press conference this afternoon stated that he's not sure with him. There was some kind of groin issue in the cup fixture, and he potentially gets limited minutes across both fixtures. So, again, I'm not sure. Can you send me a screenshot on Twitter? Yeah, sure. Send me a screenshot on Twitter or at me in a tweet. Up to you. Keith, it basically comes down to a punt. If Haaland was single game week against United, you'd captain Haaland. Single game week, you'd have captain Haaland home to Spurs. I feel people are just trying to be clever. That is kind of true, I suppose. Like you make a good point, but I captained Rashford against Bournemouth when everybody was saying, well, no, we need to captain Haaland against Chelsea, because I think, again, it's that FOMO playing into people's heads. So maybe you're right that I'm trying to be clever or overthinking it, but I also feel like some of the community overthought the captaincy on Haaland as opposed to Mitrovic, or obviously what I felt at the time was a good move to captain Rashford. It paid off for me last week. It doesn't mean that it's going to pay off every week, but I am genuinely excited for the way that United are playing right now, which is why it's put me into, and that's why I'm saying the decision has come from my heart more than my head, definitely. But like I say, if you look at the statistics, I personally can see that the Manchester derby is going to be a tight game. It's going to be a lot tighter than I think people are giving credit to, because this 6-3 that happened at the Etihad was not the Eric Ten Hag system and play style that we've come to see now. I personally think that most of the points are going to come from Crystal Palace and the Spurs fixture anyway. So taking out of the equation of the Manchester derby, I see Rashford outscoring Haaland against Palace, right? As opposed to Haaland outscoring Rashford against Tottenham. And no, I understand that definitely Rashford's fixtures were a lot easier. I am just absolutely on the momentum train is everything. It doesn't matter that the fixtures were poor or the fixtures were, let's say, easy. I genuinely believe that even though City is a tricky fixture, it's at Old Trafford that's going to be absolutely bouncing. It's a 12:30 kickoff, which always throw a little bit of a kind of curveball into the mix. So again, I agree. Maybe I am overthinking it. But I'm happy to take the L like I was last week when I accepted that captaining Rashford over Haaland was maybe a bit of a mistake. It just worked out. Play Ward or Kepa. I'm literally so torn on this move, by the way. Like, this is one of the most ridiculous things because I don't want both of them. They're both really annoying to own, to be honest. Neither of them have shown they're a good enough form to justify them. I'm just going to back the home fixture, I think. Seth, do you start White, Bueno or Estepinian? I would probably start Bueno. I don't think that Arsenal keep a clean sheet against Spurs, but I think Bueno's got a good chance against West Ham. So do you have 30 minutes to convince myself Rashford is a good triple captain pick? Mate, you don't have to convince yourself. Like, you can just decide on what you want to do. The thing is with triple captain is it doesn't matter about just take the word triple out of it, right? Just think that all you're doing is you're just getting an extra set of points to your normal captain. And I was looking at captaining Rashford normally anyway. So it's true, Dan. Imagine Rashford gets 2 at home and 1 goal, one goal away, pure points, straight jump in the ranks. Precisely. And I just feel like the upside is good enough. I feel like Rashford will get a brace against Palace minimum. He might get a goal, he might get an assist. And against City, I feel like he'll get a goal. What do I think Haaland will return? Potentially 1 goal in each of those games. So it's going to be very, very close, but I just think Rashford pips it. Keith, it's all about narratives. You're making a narrative to fit your decisions. Still don't think it makes any sense. And that's fair enough, mate. If that's the route that you want to go down, then fine. I have looked at the statistics, though. And that's why I said that I know that Haaland statistically does make sense. But with the opponents that are being played and the upside of captaining someone different to, 80% of the engaged community, maybe more than that, I just feel like it's a winner for me. If it doesn't go well, it doesn't matter to me. Like, yes, I'm playing for rank, but ultimately it doesn't matter. Like, I will take the L on it. I'm just more... I can see much more upside for captaining someone different as opposed to Haaland. Like, it's just so obvious to captain Haaland or triple captain him, right? Literally so many people were looking at doing it. It was the obvious move from game week, 5? You saw what form he was in, and everybody was looking, well, we're not going to captain anybody else. I've just decided against that in recent form. Seb, so my transfers so far, Darwin to Kane and Cucurella to Castagna already done, and Mount to Rodrigo. You have 1.6 million in the bank, so you can always pick someone like Gakpo or Saka or Odegaard. I mean, I'm not too sure on the Gakpo pick. I think that's a wait and see for me. Just Liverpool, too many injuries at the moment. Again, I really like Odegaard. I like Saka as well because of the penalties. I guess Mount to Rodrigo does make sense out of that, Seb. I do like it because you can always go Rodrigo to Odegaard. I do like that. Krishna, you've shared your team on Twitter. Okay, mate, I'll check it out for you. Abdullah, should I start Dunk? Liverpool have been far from best. Yes, but they still do have goal-scoring threat, even though they've got a lot of injuries. Who's your other options, bud? Seb, but still they score goals. Yes, they do. Sportcat team, Kepa, Ward, Trippier, Cancelo, Shaw, De Bruyne, Mount, Rashford, Martinelli, Odegaard, Mitrovic, Haaland. Pretty solid team there, mate. I'm really torn with the Kepa Ward starting. I think I'm going to go with a home fixture, though. Joe Davis, Salah and Greenwood to Kane and Odegaard for a 4 hit. Absolutely love that. Absolutely love that move if you can do that. I think that's a no-brainer, really, I think. Salah could be interesting against Brighton, right? Brighton definitely haven't been keeping clean sheets. So, I don't know. It's a tricky one, but I definitely feel like getting rid of him is a good move just based on Liverpool's injuries. Kane and Odegaard, I think, are great picks long term. Doctor, your ID is 67200615. Could you check my team? Transfer was Salah to Rashford. Yes, Doctor, I'll have a look at yours shortly. Trish, your best Cancelo replacement. I would go for... Best Cancelo replacement would probably be, for me, Luke Shaw or Trippier are probably up there as the top 2. I don't think I would go as far as a Spurs replacement, a Spurs defender. Potentially, I would take the risk on Ake or Akanji, maybe just for the minutes if you wanted to keep a City player. Or alternatively, if you've already got Shaw and Trippier, maybe you do go with Botman as well, like I have. It's just a budget replacement and use the money elsewhere. Daniel, yeah, I'm going to be triple captain in Rashford, sir. So that's what I'm doing. My transfers are already complete. Well, the first one's already done. I've done Darwin to Kane, and I'm possibly doing Mount to Eriksen for a -4. Sportcat, we're injury FC, mate. Yeah, Liverpool and Chelsea, both of you are very, very heavy on the injuries. Rashford triple captain in 22 is not better. It is possibly better, but we don't know if it's a guaranteed double yet. It's about a 60% chance. Please check it on screen. Let's discuss with everyone sent on Twitter. Sure. Why not? I don't usually do that, but yeah, why not? We'll have a little look. We will have a little look. So I'm guessing this is... I'm not sure if you've done any transfers here, but Ake I like. I think Ward ahead of Ramsdale makes sense. Both away fixtures, though, so it's tricky. Cucurella, I think... I'm not sure. I would look at potentially playing Botman. I'm just not convinced with Chelsea defensively. I know I've got Kepa in goal at the moment, but I don't know. I don't know with that pick. Shaw, happy with. Almiron, great. Rashford, of course. Bailey, interesting as a budget option, but I don't think I'd play anyone ahead of him. De Bruyne, Haaland, Kane. So I think maybe the priority for you is Darwin out. I think I'm not 100% convinced on who to go with there, but maybe Ivan Toney is a good option. If you want to go with a double game weeker, then you could take the risk on Martial. it just depends on your preference, really. To be honest with you, Krishna, I'm not 100% sure if you want a double game weeker, but if you've only got one free transfer, then I'd probably look at Darwin out. Hopefully that helps, bud. Salah to KDB for a -12. I wouldn't be doing that. I wouldn't be doing that. Abdullah, I think template is starting to break, and I'm happy about that, mate. I absolutely love the template breaking. Absolutely love it. Sebastian, I don't know why I now want to captain KDB, mate. Just this is the thing. Keith is right that I have maybe produced a bit of a narrative to support my decision making. Absolutely, like we could go down that whole psychology route of like I'm captain or decided to triple captain Rashford because that's really what I wanted to do. So I'm kind of making the argument for myself. But I did break down the statistics of Rashford, Haaland and Kane. I didn't go down the De Bruyne road. I do feel like he's a possible option, but his form of late has just not been up to scratch, right? He's been producing the chances, but the output's just not been there. Sportcat, imagine the people who transferred João Felix. It's like 30,000, right? I think I saw a Focal tweet when it was like 28. KDP has seriously annoyed me. Yeah, it's a tricky, mate. Again, it's one of them. It's just variance. Like in any other world, we'd be sitting here saying he's almost equaled the same points that Salah did across these 3 weeks. If that John Stones header went in, and who else? Ake hit the bar, and he hit the post as well. 2 easily clear-cut assists for De Bruyne, and as well as that, he had plenty of big chances created. So he hasn't put the output there yet, but I still think he creates enough chances to warrant his choice. Would I sell Dunk to a City defender for a -4 or play Gabriel Bueno? If so, who would you start and which City defender? I think I would lean on, if I wanted a City defender, I'd probably go Ake or Akanji. I'm just not convinced about City as assets other than KDB and Haaland at the moment. I just think their minutes are so risky. So my advice is really probably avoid the -4 there and potentially just play Bueno. Like I know he's only at the 3.9 million there, but I don't know. I'm not convinced about the City defence. The upside is, of course, that you get 2 double game weeks with them in 23. Who is the person that gets the most minutes in that defence, right? It's really tricky. Would you start White or Botman, given that I already have Trippier? I would start Botman, I think. I do back the Newcastle clean sheet against Fulham. You can see an KDB 18-pointer. Well, mate, I can see a Rashford 18-pointer, right? That's the thing. Andy, it's not happening for me, but lots of people stream chat saying the app is already throwing up errors. Be aware if you're trying to wait until last minute for transfers. Okay, fair play. I think I'm okay, though. I mean, where are we at? We're at 6 p.m. Thanks for the update, though. So anybody watching, Andy's already mentioned that there's a bit of hesitation on the website or the app. Krishna, thank you, bro. You're the best. I hope it helped, mate. Hopefully it helped you. Also, Darwin is rumoured to be in the squad this weekend. Interesting. And I'd literally just said to Krishna he's the one that I would be looking to get out of his team. But, I mean, I still feel like I would have made the move regardless of the injury. Oh, I did. I did make the move before the injury happened. Are you saying he's going to start? And that's the thing. Being in the squad and starting are 2 different things, right? Do we think Klopp's just playing mind games there, though? I mean, not that... I don't know what benefit he'd get from that, but... He had a DM. To be fair, he had the direct message about the injury concern in the first place, right? Both him and Focal, I think, both got messages on Twitter from what actually turned out to be a pretty reliable source in the end, right? Because his injury got confirmed. Klopp is not like Pep. No, that's true. He's a little bit more straightforward, isn't he? A bit more straight up. Oh, Doctor, yeah, sorry, bud. You're in the league, aren't you? I know you are. Bowen the Menace, aren't you? I'm almost certain you're Bowen the Menace. And what move did you make? I can't remember now. Transfer Salah to Rashford. So you still got Cancelo in the team though. I mean, I can see potential minutes from him there. I'd probably play Ward ahead of Ramsdale. I'd definitely play Almiron ahead of Andreas. I play Bailey ahead of Solanke as well. So then you've got Rashford, Martinelli, Haaland, Kane. I don't think I play Mikalenko. Who are Everton playing again? Southampton at home on the back of that 2-0 win. What have you got in the bank, bud? 0.4. It's tricky. You haven't really got too many moves to be able to do, I assume. Oh, you haven't got 0.4 though because you've moved on Salah. I mean, can you get to any other premium? Can you get to Son? Can you get to KDB? I'm not sure with the money. I don't think you can you, from any of those? You can't go like Martinelli to KDB, can you? You subbed in Botman for Cucurella, as you said. Yeah, I think that's a smart move. I think that's a smart move, bud, because, like I said, I'm just not convinced with Chelsea at the moment, whereas I'm definitely convinced with Newcastle's defence. So hopefully that pays off for you, bud. And Cucurella obviously was benched in the most recent game, so I don't know how much we can read into that. Seb, can you check my team? Send it on Twitter. Yeah, sure, bud. Trippier, Castagna, Shaw, De Bruyne, Captain, Rashford, Mount, Almiron, Haaland, Kane, Mitrovic. I like it, mate. I like the squad. It's not too dissimilar to mine, right? There's just a couple of small nuances and differences. I honestly don't feel like that's a bad squad at all. Obviously, De Bruyne captain is a differential. It's up to you on where you decide to go with it, mate. But my heart, I think, is literally set on Rashi. Keith, I think he was away in training today, so I guess he trained and is available in whatever capacity Klopp thinks. Yeah, so he did say in his press conference that if he did train today, that of course he would be a possibility. So maybe he does just get limited minutes, guys. I wouldn't necessarily read into the fact that, I don't think he's going to get 90, especially with some tricky fixtures coming up for Liverpool, right? Sportcat, 63 points up to 2.39 million. Climbing the ranks nicely, my friend. Well done, mate. Well done. Similar points that we scored. Right, first plug, guys. If you haven't liked the stream yet, then please do. There's 12 people viewing currently, I think. As opposed, well, that's what OBS is telling me anyway. But smash a like on the stream, really helps it out. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do consider. Can you cancel the triple captain? Yes, you can, sir. The chip at the bottom, once you activate it, you can simply cancel and save team, and then it goes back to normal. And then when you put it in play, you play it and you save, and that's it. It's as simple as that, my friend. You just obviously can't cancel it once the deadline has passed. ESC Robin, you have both Cancelo and Botman. Who do you play? Is Cancelo a differential now, or do Newcastle hold that clean sheet? Some interesting questions, I guess. I think if you're asking who do you play out of the two of them, then definitely I pick Botman. Even though Cancelo has got the double, I still think that I would back Newcastle on the clean sheet. I've got two Newcastle defenders, so I'm definitely backing it. Of course, Cancelo does have the double, though, so I can see the appeal. It's just, I guess it comes down to the point of, are you going to sell him for anybody? If you're going to sell Cancelo for maybe another City defender or another doubling individual, let's say Luke Shaw or someone else that you haven't got, then I would play them ahead of Botman. That's kind of the logic that I would use. Right, we're 6:05, well, 7 minutes past, in fact, now. So just over 20 odd minutes to go. You think if now KDB gets 15 points and Haaland like 9, you're going to be in heaven. And if KDB captain works, you're going to be in the top 500k. Well, that's the thing. Certain people aren't going to be, even though they're captain Haaland, they're not going to put the triple captain, right? Some individuals aren't looking at doing it yet. They think that there are better double game weeks to target, or there's possible news in the future. So be it. I definitely can see both sides of the argument. I'm just making the decision that I think triple captain is better this week. And the thing is, when you look at that, Haaland 9 point versus KDB 15 points, that is a pretty big swing if you decide to triple cap. So, I know, Seb, you've already used yours, haven't you? I can't remember. I'm sure we spoke about this. ESC, will Lewis play over Cancelo? I think Lewis will get at least one start out of the two, but it's so hard to tell. Like, Cancelo must be falling out of favour more than not, because look at what's happened in the performances that he's put in. Well, I say performances, he's not turned up. So I think Pep just doesn't start him. And it is difficult between Kepa and Ward Sportcat, mate. I completely agree. Completely agree. Armin, hello Dan, how's the stream going? Steady as always, chap. Steady as always. It's just, you know, us and the regulars hanging out, talking triple captain. Sportcat, looks likely it will not happen. Triple captain for me. Oh, you're not going to do it? Or you are going to do it? FPL Penguin, good luck with the triple captain, Rashford, mate. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm sure, you know, look, I'll do exactly what Andy did. Not Andy FPL, Andy Martin. If Rashford goes mental and scores me like 80 points, that is going to be shared on Twitter regularly. Right? I'm going to warn you now that is going to get spammed to death. He's definitely going to get a place in the wall behind me when I start creating it, or if I ever do. I mean, we've got Eric Cantona behind me here. That's not really what I wanted to start with, because he's not in FPL, right? But if Rashi explodes, mate, this is it. This is we're never going to hear the end of it from me. Seb, yeah, I was talking about captain, not triple captain. As a City fan, it's a very hard choice. Understood. Devin, Almiron or Rodrigo? Very close call. I think I prefer Newcastle's fixture at Fulham. Newcastle's fixture at home against Fulham this week, but I like Rodrigo medium term. In the same span of Almiron's games, let's say the next 5 weeks, I think Rodrigo might score more. Sorry, I know that probably didn't help you at all. That was a proper politician answer, but I've got Rodrigo in my team. Maybe that tells you enough. Krishna, mate, I'd say Captain Rashford is safe, but save the triple captain. I don't see it. I don't see the point in saving it. The thing is, I genuinely believe that people put too much pressure on themselves on when to play it, right? I think I can't remember if I triple captained Mane when he scored 1 point to give me 3 or not. I can't remember if I did it, but the swings aren't that big. You know, scoring 90 points of a triple captain doesn't happen all the time. And it's not 90 points, by the way. It's an extra 30. So, I don't know. I like the double for Rashford this week. Regardless of City being there, I still think that this is a good double game week to do it. Sportcat, sorry, worded it wrong. Doesn't look like triple captain will happen. Ah, okay. Well, I mean, look, again, I'm not here to convince you otherwise. This is just my decision making, right? This is what I've decided to do. It doesn't. I'm not trying to influence anybody on the moves that I do. I just, you know, present the statistics and everything, and you digest them as you will. If you don't want a triple captain, don't do it. How we doing, George? Welcome to the stream, bud. Good to see you, mate. Armin, I went from Cancelo to Ake since I think Ake will play either left back or centre back pairing with Laporte. Is it a good transfer? I do like Ake. To be honest, I do. I think him and Akanji are probably good options if you wanted to stick with the Manchester City defenders, especially as we know that Stones is out now, right? That's one less person. One less person on rotation. Devin, thanks. Hopefully that helped you, bud. I'm not sure. Sportcat, knowing my luck, there will never be a better game week to triple captain Haaland than this one. Potentially, but that's the thing. Everybody will be doing it. So anyone who's not triple captain Haaland now will triple captain him another time. So in terms of rank gain now, I'll probably end up losing it net later down the line anyway. Which means, what difference does it make when you use the triple captain? It all cancels itself out to some degree. There's going to be variations and different levels of swings, of course, where someone might have captained, like we said, De Bruyne when he goes and scores 4 goals, versus someone that captained Mane. There's like an 87-point difference in the total points scored across that season. But that's just not the way I look at it. I just think you use it when you're confident your captain is going to do well. Devin, which defender would you go for as a James replacement? I have Shaw, White, Trippier and Bueno already. Well, I went James to Botman just because I back the Newcastle double. I suppose the issue with doing that now is that game week 25 is looking like a possible blank for Newcastle. So I'm literally looking that far ahead. My defenders are all over the show for that game week. Because if Manchester United and Newcastle play, then I think our game week 25 fixtures get put as blanks. So if you did go for a second Newcastle defender and you've already got Shaw and Trippier, you'll put yourself into a bit of a predicament like me. So I'm not sure. I think you could go for a real budget option. I just maybe even wait and see, mate. I don't think there's any standout options from defence at the moment. I really don't. Jules Kent debating Mount to Elise, or Elise, however you pronounce it, Elise. Very interesting pick, as well as starting Ward over Kepa. So yeah, Ward over Kepa, I don't mind. I think that's okay. I'm just going to back the home fixture. Even as woeful as Chelsea have been, I still feel like I'm going to back the home fixture. Forest at home have been a little bit tricky, so I feel like Leicester do concede. Elise, I think I prefer Eze. Does he get regular minutes now, George? I'm not sure. Pluto, how we doing, mate? Welcome to the stream. Tom's Cancelo to Ake and Foden to KDB. I do like it. I do like that. Foden to KDB is an absolute winner for me. So if that's the way you do it, I think that's good. Trishel, do you think triple captain Haaland on double game week 23? He plays Villa at home and Arsenal away, but it's also Champions League. So I think exactly this is what I'm talking about. There's so much. There's a lot of possibilities in the future of the season that we cannot foresee. Yeah. We've got all sorts of things happening with, like you say, Champions League, possible rotations, and the later double game weeks, the league could be completely wrapped up by then, in which case some players do tend to get rested. So again, it just comes down to your personal preference on when you think the chip should be activated. Devin, you was considering me, Doherty, but it seems like Botman is best. I mean, I do like me against Bournemouth. It's a fixture that you can obviously target. I definitely think it's been the fixture to target this season. Doherty, I'm not sure with. I think it might be a little bit knee-jerk to his 14-pointer or whatever it was last week. I think Spurs are going to struggle to keep clean sheets in both these games, right? And ultimately, I know Doherty's got the attacking threat, but we have defenders in our teams for clean sheets, mostly, right? So that's why I back Newcastle defenders. 34th in our mini-league, your mini-league. Yeah, you can call it ours, it's fine. It's the community one, right? You'll be climbing up, mate, I'm sure. Pluto, you triple captain Rashi. I've got it active on Rashi, mate. Yes. I've got it active. It's a bit of a bold move, maybe, but, you know, this is the first season I've created content, guys, right? So, look, at the end of the day, for me, if this goes absolutely bonkers, I'm not saying all of a sudden that I'm going to gain like 250 subs from it, but at the end of the day, like, if it pops off, it's just going to be a win-win for me because I'm a United fan. I feel like Rashford's in form. Like, I am definitely creating more of a narrative here, so I'm sorry for those that are maybe going on board with me and he ends up scoring 6 points. But I genuinely think he's going to get at least 2 returns in this double game week, and I feel like that's going to be more than what Haaland gets, or at least the equivalent of. In which case, that Rashford, I think, gets more points from those 2 returns overall, right? From bonus, clean sheet points, etc. George, yeah, he starts every week since he's been starting. Only KDB has got more assists. Okay, interesting. But do I trust Palace's fixtures beyond this double game week, mate? I'm not sure. They're not really that great. But at that price point, I guess, you know, would you not go for, have you got enough money to maybe go for someone like Eriksen, where we have got that possibility of another double game week and we've got the double game week this week? I'm so happy I kept Bruno, Rashford and Shaw in my draft. I'm a City fan, so hopefully they only return in the Palace game. Well, Armin, good luck to you, sir. It's going to be a really interesting game tomorrow. I can't wait. Seb, so last chance to captain KDB. Am I crazy if I do it? I don't think you're crazy. No. I think, you know, he's definitely well worth a shout. He's due a return. I don't like using that as reasoning, but he's so close to being to getting some output in FPL. He's created so many chances. Lewis Canoli? Sorry if I've butchered your name. Louis? Is it Louis or Lewis? Sorry, my friend. Play Martinelli or Mitro. I would play... that's really tough. Martinelli or Mitro. I think I back the penalty taker. I think I back Mitro. Even though I've got double Newcastle defence, I really don't want Mitro to return. I think out of them two, mate, I back Mitro. Right, we've got 15 minutes. Let me just refresh my pick team. Am I on Kepa still? And am I? Yes. Okay, I'm on triple captain. Transfer wise, then, this is what we're eyeing up. This is the possibility for me. Leaves me 2.8 in the bank. I'm not 100% sure I'll do it. I'm going to just do some forward planning in a minute, just to have a look. George, the only reason I'd get him is to be able to go 3 with Nunez as well. Okay, so you're basically giving yourself as much money as possible. I mean, I like it. It's a different option. No one's really been talking about him. But, you know, this is what happened with Rodrigo, and he almost scored us a brace, George. At the end of the day, he almost got, 13 points. He could have easily scored another... Well, Fabianski basically saved, in the dying minutes of that game, another 5 points from Rodrigo and guaranteed 2 bonus at that point, right? So that was 7 points difference. Sometimes these punts work out, mate. So, if you want to look at the stats or you want to go for it, I'm with you, mate, because I've definitely done a little bit more of that in this restart. Sportcat, Saka injury serious. I think Arteta's said that he's okay, but of course he's flagged in the game. You'd start Martinelli because Newcastle have been very good defensively. Spurs have been more open. Yeah, possibly. You could argue that. I just think penalty taker though. I tend to back them. If it's between one attacker and another, I personally go with penalty takers. That's my reasoning. To be honest, I do think Eriksen's ceiling is only really an assist or two from set pieces. You could double up on Arsenal for game week 23. So I've got Odegaard already. So the problem is I'm not too sure I want Martinelli. Yeah, like that's the thing. I'd probably go Saka, but then Saka is of course flagged. So that's the problem with going for the Saka move this week. I do agree with you though that Eriksen's ceiling is lower. Thanks, mate. You're going Mitro. No problem, mate. Good luck. Hopefully it doesn't wipe out my double Newcastle clean sheet, but, I'm here for it. George, our risks last game week were crazy for us. Mate, I cannot believe both things paid off. Both Rodrigo coming in for that goal, could have been even more, and then Rashford captaincy coming in. Perfect. Absolutely brilliant result for us. Tricia, are you starting Ward or Kepa? At the moment, I've got Kepa just because of the home fixture. But I'm not convinced with either of them, guys. I'm really not. I'd prefer to have Ederson for this double game week. Maybe even De Gea. Like, do we do that? Do we just literally, do we keep Mount and do we just, remove Kepa and just go for De Gea? I'm not too sure I would do this. So I don't know where it would lead me later on, but I think I want to keep the third United slot open, to be honest. Or not open, but as an attacker. Should you start Mitro or Cucurella? You have no clue. I'd probably start Mitro again. It's just penalty taker, the attacker. I always back that. I don't think, again, Chelsea have been playing well defensively. So you think Eriksen is worth it over getting Mahrez? Oh, man. I mean, it's so tricky, but it's just longer term. Mahrez is not going to get consistent minutes longer term, I don't think. Pep's played this game with me before. I've done it so many times, guys. Like, literally, I mean, the past 2 seasons, I fell into the trap at the wrong time with these individuals. I've gone with Mahrez when he hits form and he gets benched. I've gone with Foden when he hits form and he gets benched. It just hasn't worked out for me, and I've just got this scar or this chip on my shoulder that just will not be removed, boys. So I just find it really difficult to transfer him in. Right, I'm going to spend, just give me a second, because I need to have a look at... I'm just going to go on to Plan FPL, and I'm going to have a look at this Eriksen transfer just in a bit more detail, just to see how it looks. So select replacement. We've got Kane, Mount, Eriksen. So that would be a -4. Then I'd have Eriksen against Arsenal. You see, that's the tricky thing. Do I really want him against Arsenal? Probably not. Like, I don't really see us... I mean, we could do something, but it's away. It's going to be a tricky fixture. Arsenal, again, are a team in form. I kind of feel that's even harder than the Manchester derby, to be honest. But then I've got him for a phenomenal run after that. It's tricky. I'm still not convinced. That Foden headache for you was unreal, Phil. So, but mate, this is what I'm saying. Like, it's just... I brought him in on the wild card, right? And the thing is, look, I wanted that price point covered. I was like, it's fine. I don't mind. I'm going to take the risk with him. The moment that I started seeing it go downhill, I made the move and transferred him out for Rodrigo. It worked, but it meant I had to burn a transfer, basically. And I just don't want the same thing happening again if I went Mahrez. Like, I know maybe that's a poor justification, guys, and I apologise, but that's just, I've been burnt in the past by these players. I have been burned by them before. So yeah, I'm really not convinced that I go Eriksen this week. I mean, I could do, but then it just leaves me in a bit of a situation where I feel like I would probably end up going Eriksen to an Arsenal attacker in 23 anyway. So do I just go Martinelli? Or something like that? I mean, I'm torn. Really torn. How about Henderson for Forest? I do like him as a goalkeeper. I do. I think he's got good potential. Leicester obviously looking pretty woeful. I just wouldn't go for him, I don't think. Not for a -4. Not for a -4. I'd have to bring in a double game week keeper for that, I think. George, Kepa, Bueno, Shaw, Trippier, Odegaard, Rashford, Martinelli, Rodrigo, KDB, Haaland, Kane. Pretty strong. Just deciding on captain and Ward and Kepa. Yeah, I think back the home fixture, bud. I'm just going to call it now. Back the home fixture with Kepa. They've both been poor, so it's a really difficult call. Captain is just up to you, mate. It's just, I can't influence you anymore. Feel like Kepa is on for the save points this weekend. Palace is quite a wasteful team. That's true. How about Almiron instead of Mount? That's a good shout. But then who would I... The thing is, though, Almiron, for a -4 for Mount, I just feel like I might as well keep Mount against Palace because he might be able to give us something. We've got 6 minutes to the deadline, guys, and I'm thinking about taking a last-minute -4. Like, what is this? I haven't really planned for this at all. I just decided that I'd maybe look at doing it on stream, but I'm not sure. 4-point hit to go Mount and Darwin to Kane and Odegaard. I like that. You see, I've already got Odegaard in. So, I mean, I personally back him to do well. Syed, I've done it. You've gone for triple captain Rashford. I was captaining him like last week. Oh, mate. I just hope it works out. I really do. I don't want to be an influencer, to be honest, for people to do it. Because if it burns, it's just gonna hurt, right? But Havertz or Martinelli? I'd probably go Martinelli. Chelsea just not connecting from an attacking point of view. Just a general question, but what's the best favourite haul from a player that you've owned? Mine was this season when I owned Zuma, who got a 15-pointer against Bournemouth. What's the best favourite haul from a player that I've owned? That's a tricky question. I'll have to have a look at the points for this season specifically. I mean, it always helps when United do well. I've had a couple of double-digit hauls from Bruno, and they did feel good. Like when he was on form, they definitely felt good. But there's not really one that sticks out in my mind, to be honest. Like I say, this is the first season I'm creating content, so I feel like a lot of the information gets captured a little bit more by me, or in my head, because I'm spending so much time talking about it this season. But there's not really any standout for me this season, I don't think, because I can't really say Haaland on the 6-3 win against us. That's just like, that's not really a a win. Great from an FPL point of view, but absolutely abysmal from a United perspective, right? Captain Haaland, don't trust going against him 2 weeks in a row. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. I'll let the fun begin. You've got Ollie Watkins. Hope he scores today. Interesting. I mean, Leeds are, they're leaky right at the back, so that could potentially happen. Watkins he's such a troll though, man. Like, I'm not convinced with him, but he's differential. So good luck to you, mate. Good luck. I mean, here's the thing. If I went Eriksen, like, am I really going to back United to this level? Am I going to triple captain Rashford, bring in Eriksen for a -4? If not Darwin, then who? Ivan Toney. If you've already got Kane and Haaland, haven't you? So I think Ivan Toney's a good shout. Do I go anywhere else? I don't think I do. I think if I was in your position, maybe Ivan Toney. Are we doing it, boys? Are we doing the -4 or not? I'm so torn. And we've got 2 minutes, so it might not even go through if I try it. I mean, what's going on at the moment with him? 6, 3, and 5. So he's gained 2 assists in the past 3 games. Scored and assisted against Fulham. Ericsson or Martinelli. Eze or Elise is a good shout. Yeah, I mean, I'm not backing Palace. That's the thing. Shall I go Ericsson? Ericsson or Martinelli? The thing is, I can always go to Saka from Ericsson, right? This is the thing. So in double game week 23, potentially Ericsson becomes an Arsenal mid. So I'm kind of okay with this. I really want to get rid of Mount. Ericsson or Malmaron. Last chance for Mount. 1 minute. Done it. We've done it. Mate. This could get clipped, right? This could get clipped phenomenally well, or it could be awful. But we've done it. We've taken a -4. We're backing United heavily here. We are backing United heavily. Now, listen, it's a game. At the end of the day, look, I play this game to have fun as well. I am, yes, playing for rank, but I play it for fun. This is going to make this Manchester derby so much more exciting for me. You have no idea. Like, it's going to be so good. You hope it isn't a good transfer. Yeah, I think we're not going to see much. I think in this City United game, I think it's going to be such a close call. Like, I could be completely off the mark with this. I could be completely off the mark. But we've done it, boys. We've triple captained Rashi. We brought in Ericsson for a -4. Right, let's tweet it out. Let's take the abuse on Twitter. We locked in Ward as well in the end, huh? No, sorry, we locked in Kepa over Ward in the end. Right, game week 20 locked. Let me tweet this out, boys, and then we'll have a little chat before heading off. Game week 20 locked. What did I do? I did Darwin to Kane. I did Mount to Ericsson. -4. Rashi. Is there an emoji for triple? We'll do 3. Boom. Tweeted. Go and hurl the abuse. Go and hurl the abuse at me, boys. I will take it. To be honest, George, you can see both the derbies being high-scoring games. Potentially. I think that definitely Kane, I feel like, gets something really, really, definitely out of that London derby. I just think he's so trustworthy this season as well, isn't he? He's so consistent. So I think it could be. I'm hoping it's a high-scoring game in some ways. I don't care that I've got Shaw in defence. I want it to be a high-scoring game. They're always much more fun. 4-0 to City. Red card to Rashford. An excellent own goal. Mate, can you imagine? Nah, that's just too many things that just they won't go wrong. It won't go that wrong. And this is what the game's about. Remember to have fun with it, guys. Absolutely. I absolutely am 100% going to be behind the mental health aspect of this game. Like, there are so many people in the community that get down and they get worried about moves, or they don't score the best points of that week, and it really affects their mood. Guys, like, if that's you, then I definitely think you should take a break from the game, because it's not about that, right? This is just about a bit of fun. Like, that's the type of person I am. I will take a few risks here and there. I want to enjoy the game. Fundamentally, look, I have taken a massive risk on this. That's obviously not my team. They're locked in. Have we got the right team? Yes, we have got the right team. There we go. You got Eriksen in at the last second, but it was for free. Probably not worth the -4. Yeah, I feel like maybe I did take a bit of a gamble there. But I wanted rid of Mount anyway. I don't trust Chelsea at all. I definitely trust United a lot more. Could still decide on third United in 2 weeks. Yeah, there could be another announcement of the double game week, in which case it works out. If not, I'll just move him on, mate. I'll just move him on. I've got enough money in the bank to move him on to an Arsenal midfielder, and that's probably what I will do. That was the plan all along anyway. Whoever I transferred Mount out for, not this game week. My plan was originally to transfer Mount out for someone in 21. At the time when I looked at the long-term planning, it was probably going to be a Brighton player at the time, because I felt like they had a high possibility of a double in 21. Obviously, that hasn't been announced. So I kind of just, I've taken a bit of a punt here on Game Week's 20 transfer instead. Maybe it pays off, maybe it doesn't, but who knows. And with Eriksen, you switched to Haaland last second. No triple captain though, because I feel like I'm backing United enough with 2 attackers. Yeah, I've taken a huge gamble here, boys, but here we go. Rodrigo hat-trick today. Mate, that would set my game week off. I back it. Really excited about the derby tomorrow. This is most likely going to be the closest in years. I agree. I think, and as well as that, not just the closest, but I genuinely think it could be one of the most exciting games we've seen. Both managers, Erik ten Hag has transformed United. He's the fastest manager to have gained, I think he's 20-something wins under management, right, for United. Insane statistic already. The man is doing the business. Oh, you got him nice. Thought it was another team, Eriksen to Weghorst, still get assists for days. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I genuinely believe that Eriksen is an absolute baller. Like, we had that conversation in the comments, right? I do still back him over Fernandes. I like Fernandes as a pick, but I just think the FPL output hasn't been there. Eriksen takes more of the set piece deliveries now as well, right? Is it the right team to go to the kitchen to cook dinner now if everything is locked? That is my wife, ladies and gentlemen, basically triggering me to finish this stream, I think. But yeah, I feel like it's a very big risk to have gone with this, but let's hope it pays off. I think what I'm going to do, I haven't done this before, guys, but I'm going to have a look on YouTube, and I'm going to see if there's anyone streaming maybe around the same sort of viewers. I don't want to support, obviously, the big streamers and the big YouTubers, because we already know they are, right? I don't want to go and raid someone that we already know of. But there are plenty of people in the community that, do what I do as well, just create the content. And I feel like we should support them in the channel more. I've got FPL Focal to thank for bringing people to this channel, bringing people to my stream. So I feel like if I just type in FPL Live, if we got any recommendations for someone that we can raid, guys? Have we got any recommendations? So we've got someone called FPL Father Ted. We've got someone called Paul Livesey. Does anybody watching know any of these two? Have we heard of these two? I haven't looked at any of their content, which maybe I should have done first. But I want to, like I said, I want to support the smaller streamers like I've been supported as well. To be honest, Ericsson does get free kicks on corners now, yes, but Bruno still takes pens. Yeah, or Rashi. George McGavin, prediction for Man U versus Man City. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. There's a few people that disagree with me in the chat, but yeah, I don't particularly think it's going to be a massive scoreline. Ben Smith, Father Ted is great, top bloke. Let's should we raid Father Ted? Should we go and raid Father Ted? Let me just bring the window in. He's only got 2 people watching him. So we've got 31 people watching Father Ted, which is actually more than me. But should we go raid him? Should we go raid him for a bit? I'll go on my mobile so I can still talk into the chat. But I've seen Focals supported him as well. So should we go raid Father Ted? If I spam let's go raid. Guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for joining the stream. Good luck for Game Week 20. It's been an absolute blast. Enjoy the games tonight. Enjoy the game tonight, should I say. Enjoy the derbies as well, of course. And yeah, I'll see you in a video soon, guys.